Let's see our first decision, right? If you have to decide whether I should go for single supplier or multiple suppliers, right? What would be your thinking, right? Even though points are here, right? Would like to hear from you, right? What do you think, why companies should go for single supplier, and what are the conditions under which companies would favor or prefer single sourcing? Single sourcing means one supplier per product. Yes. Discounts, yeah, definitely. If supplier would give me volume discounts or price discounts, I would certainly go for single supplier. Yes. What else? Long term relationships, yes. So if it is beneficial for me to form long term relationships, and I will ask question, why you want to go for long term relationships? Again, the answer might be probably good discounts, or the, in fact, one we can also say that volume discounts, price discounts, and if we will see that cost reduction innovations are going on. Okay, supplier is capable of introducing cost reducing techniques. Okay, one should definitely go for single supply. What else? Yeah, quality, whatever quality or whatever specifications I want, only this supplier, one supplier can provide. Okay, what else? Right. So this is single sourcing. Yes. So we want to know. So we will, this point we will, it will be relevant in multiple sourcing, right? So when it is ideal to go for single sourcing. Right? The points are there in front of you, right? But once you will repeat the same point, probably you will describe it. When it is ideal for to go for single sourcing. Yes. So whenever we are making unique products, right, it involves a lot of confidentiality, right? So that, in that such case, it is better to go for single supplier. Okay. Yes. Okay. What else? Exclusivity, we'll cover that. Sometimes patent protection and exclusive distributorship. So then one can go for single supplier, right? Many a times our requirement is very small, right? Order is too small to split between multiple suppliers. Okay, that case one can go for single suppliers, right? uh, more important customer, more attention from supplier. If you would be the only or buying from the supplier in volumes, like you can become a important customer, and you would get special treatment, right? So cost of duplication is prohibitive. It is not easy to have duplicated supply, right? Ex- yeah, excellent. Sometimes our customer may say that I want you to buy from that particular supplier only. Okay, so if you want to make laptop, it should be Intel inside, or it should be AMD inside. Okay, so that is some kind of requirement of the end consumer or end customer. Okay, yes, so that also is important. Many a time we want to go for just in time. Okay, our requirements are the supplier who can give just in time, stockless buying. Okay, and like vendor managed inventory initiative, why should I keep the stock? Vendor should take the responsibility of stock, or EDI arrangement. Many a times even information technology, is important. Why should I spend my energies on, like, managing suppliers with different non-standard IT? Okay, so this is, so one can actually, relates these things with our quadrants and see if it is a non-critical element, and this stockless buying, EDI, VMI, vendor manager arrangements are important, go for single supplier. Okay, so it's time, like, try to consolidate whatever we have learned so far and come up with good frameworks, right? Yes, exactly. Yeah, it depends on what kind of product. For non-critical and for leverage, yes, one can say that they will be. So easier to schedule deliveries, well, means handling one supplier is easier, right, than managing multiple suppliers, right? So what are the examples we see in and around, right? So even if we will see our own institute, right, for like housekeeping and all activities related to housekeeping, one contract, okay, single contract, they will take care of the whole institute. Same thing happens with other organizations, they just go for single contract service buying. Okay, single insurance provider for an organization. Once you would go to the jobs, and many of you already have experience in the companies, there is single insurance provider for the employees of an organization, single contract, right? Or single source procurement contract for tracking and monitoring the clinical trials of new drug. Again, the confidentiality is very important. Okay, here confidentiality will happen in terms of, the characteristics or features of the drug. At the same time, the information which we would get from the procurement source suppliers, like, here with whom contract would be signed, that should also be kept confidential. Okay, so these are examples, like, in real life, which we will see, we do see around for the single sourcing, right? And when we should go for multiple sourcing? Pardon? When single supplier is not able to supply, right, you can go for multiple sourcing, right? When we don't have, good capacity, we need volumes, like, and single supplier is not able to meet, we can go for multiple sourcing. Okay, what do you mean by keep suppliers on their toes? What does this mean? No, that is the lead time, we can have lead time constraints. Okay, so how it is related with multiple sourcing? Yes, to have the suppliers competitive, means suppliers on toes means, like, if you would be having two suppliers, three suppliers, there would be a kind of competition between them. Okay, who would give me at lowest price? So, that kind of competition would help in, getting the right price for the product. Okay, so this, in that case, the multiple sourcing would be ideal. What else? Yes, 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 right. So to, if there are two existing suppliers, right, so both uh, would be feeling in a competition, and they would definitely give us the right price, right? What else? What do we mean by assurance of supply? Assurance of supply, multiple suppliers, huh? Pardon? Promise deliveries would be there in the single supplier also. Okay, what is the context here? Huh? How multiple supplier and assurance of supply is linked? Exactly. So mostly, to mitigate the supply related risk, Okay. For example, like, now the whole world is thinking about making themselves self-sufficient in the semiconductor industry. Okay. For long, like, there is always a small regional setting where, all the semiconductor manufacturers for fabrications was done. Right now everyone is thinking that once anything happens to that region, or anything happens to which interrupt the supply chain, like COVID-19 lockdowns and all, any interruption, right, would lead to, the interrupted supply. So how to assure, if any risky event would happen at one supplier, we can get delivery from the another supplier. Okay. So this is assurance of supply, right? Even if one supplier would default for one or two instances, we can get supply from another supplier, right? What else? You should be capable of dealing with multiple suppliers, okay, right? So which should be two or three suppliers, how to distribute orders, how to schedule with them, right? So all that, right? So avoid supplier dependence on one customer, right? So many a times if and many a times, like, if you are dealing with one supplier, it can be the supplier can become over dependent on the customer. Okay. And then, many other things comes, right? The supplier becomes complacent, supplier would lose interest in innovating, right? Complacent means know that, okay, we are already in relationship, this buyer is going to order from me only. Okay. So that is not good for, the business innovation. Okay. What else? Okay, other things are, like, you can say, self-explanatory. Sometimes government regulation says, especially in army, military, either one can say that you have to get supply from this particular government division. Okay, then one can say that, okay, 10%, 20% we can buy, rest of them we can buy from the open market, right? Or many a times government regulation would say that you have to buy from MSMEs as a social aspect. Okay, so then one has to buy some percentage from MSMEs. Okay, if we will take care of, like, if we will see that the hospitality sectors, right? Many hotels or many hotel chains, or, like, holidaying industry. Okay, you see that they are always encouraging the regional entertainers, or, like, regional craftspersons, like, who come there and they sell their products. Okay, so these are all the you can say it's a government regulations, or it can be, like, the organizations their own strategies to encourage the social sustainability. Okay. Or supply market volatility, risk, volatility, turbulent situations would lead to go for multiple suppliers, right? So what are the examples here? Supermarkets, they source from multiple suppliers. Pallets, packaging industry, they go for, the wood or cardboard buying, from multiple source per suppliers. Should we buy from a manufacturer or distributor? The supplier which we want to buy, where that supplier lies in the whole supply chain. Okay, whether it is a manufacturer or a distributor, whether it is through trade channel, value added services, right, through trade channel, or from manufacturer directly. So now we have two options here. From manufacturer directly, right, means, that manufacturer would be manufacturing only that particular product, one kind of product. Okay, versus buying the product from the distributor. Okay, so one can go for manufacturer only when there are large requirements of buyers, so that, you can buy the volumes. Okay, but this through trade channels or distributor, they are just adding they are providing value added services, like, They will take care of, like, if something goes wrong, guarantee, warranty, like, or service levels, they will take care of such things. They have lower costs. Why lower costs? Because distribution channels, they are selling the product from different uh, brands. They are selling different brands, they are selling products of different companies, right? So they can definitely, like, their marketing costs spread over variety of product. So they will be having lower cost, and that can be transferred to lower price to the customers. This option might not be there when one buy directly from manufacturer. So there are no additional service possible, right, through a wholesaler. So if manufacturer, sometimes it depends who gives the guarantee warranty clauses. Sometimes manufacturer would give good after sale service, or sometimes distribution channel. So one can decide based on that. But this distribution channel, they are definitely have lower marketing costs, right, and that reduction in cost can be transferred into price reduction for the customers. So they transport in bulk and large lots, so saving in transportation costs also, right. But manufacturers who can afford to have large supply house, they can only provide the quantity discounts. So based on the product, one has to really see, right. So if it is really bulk buying and manufacturer is capable of doing that, having good storage facilities, one can go directly from the manufacturers, right. So this is some aspects, right. I think we will take a break now, break for 10 minutes, okay, and then we will come back and we will see one or two more aspects of sourcing, then we will go for evaluation of supplier. And next time we will be having a small case, okay, oriented towards supplier selection, okay, yeah. Okay, so we'll continue with our few of supplier selection related decisions. We have seen when to go for single supplier, multiple suppliers, right? And should we buy from manufacturer or distributor, or similar thing can be seen as retailer or online channel, right, or e-commerce. Okay, so this can be a decision, like if we want to buy from an entity where that entity exists in the supply chain. Okay, so now another thing is where supply should be located. Okay, so whether we should go for local suppliers, right. So local suppliers are more dependable services, right. They are flexible. If they are local, they would definitely like to meet the niche, like even we have a special focus product, they will be able to provide that just in time, lean production activities, right, and that owes much to the local community. Okay, so this is like if we will go for local suppliers, many companies you might have seen have started the plants like in the vicinity of, like where local suppliers are there, and they provide many kind of facilities to the suppliers. So it actually encourages both the social aspect, like they have provisions of, like providing utilities like education, healthcare to the local community. So if that is the purpose, one can go for local suppliers, right. uh, Another is whether to go for small suppliers or larger suppliers, right. Smaller suppliers for smaller requirements, okay, very similar to um, the, like local suppliers, if they exist close by, they can actually help in providing the products in faster manner, right. So smaller suppliers also, if we have good speed requirements, right, and they are able to respond quickly, right, and flexible, right. So then we can go for smaller supplier. So many a times, like if a smaller supplier, like we can show loyalty in both ways, like we would always buy from that small supplier, and small supplier will always get order from the buyer. So there is always a loyalty. However, one should go for large suppliers for higher volume requirements. Okay, so many a times, like one may think like when to go for smaller suppliers, whether we should go for smaller suppliers. Okay, so many times we don't get that flexibility with the larger suppliers which we get from the smaller suppliers. Okay, so definitely in the terms of specifications, but you know, flexibility, speed of response, once you would see you are loyal, they might give you advantage in various this thing. They can tend to feel niche also, but larger supplier, definitely technology, quality, right, and total cost of ownership is more critical. Total cost of ownership actually is the total cost of ownership is the actually the total cost which is comprised of acquisition price, the price which we pay, processing or production cost after buying that product, how much we are spending, you know, to convert, plus disposal cost, like, you know, after we produce the product, if there is any byproduct or if there is any hazardous byproduct which has to be managed or disposed of. So those is the cost. The idea is that these days, whenever we need to select supplier or whenever we need to consider the cost considerations while selecting the suppliers, one should consider total cost of ownership and not the only acquisition price. Okay, so with large suppliers, such kind of considerations can be captured, which is not there with the small suppliers. Okay, so one has to take this thing, and large suppliers have greater stability and possibly they have variety of resources with which they can cater to the needs. So one can consider this one. Now if we don't have any supplier, existing supplier for our probably our new like R&D products or innovative products, one can go for supplier development. Supplier development is also known as reverse marketing initiative. Okay, just like, you know, in marketing what happens, the supplier takes the marketing initiative to the purchaser, means the buyer company, right? So and then, you know, in response to supply, like, you know, purchaser will buy the product, right? This is a supplier response. However, in this supplier development context or reverse marketing, this is a purchaser who will take the supply initiative. Like, you know, they would tend to encourage supplier, they would help the suppliers in coming up with the new kind of product material, right? And then the sales response, uh, like, you know, what kind of requirements purchaser has in terms of sales. So in that response, supplier will respond to the purchaser towards the, it would respond to the supply initiative. Okay, so this initiative will accrue some benefits of which supplier may not be aware of. It is not easy, you know, to convince a potential supplier, like, you know, to develop altogether new part or product. Okay, but you know, you never know if, you know, this might, if this product, this new product would like, you know, hit in the market, it's going to be a very good advantage to the supplier also. Okay, so as I was telling you the Honda story, right? So the Honda was initiated by Mr. Honda, you know, who was working in the two-wheeler factory. Okay, so he decided to he was, like, you know, of like, you know, opinion to come up with a four-wheeler, like, but you know, the Japanese government was not giving permission, you know, but somehow once he got the permission, you know, he dared to transform the two-wheeler supplier to become four-wheeler suppliers, right? That was the development he initiated. So once he come up with his Honda cars initiative, he kind of developed many of the two-wheeler suppliers, developed them. In fact, he deployed many of the Honda car employees in the premises of you know, the Honda suppliers, right, to develop them. Right, this is a very interesting story. Please go through that. Right, you know, a best example of supplier development. And not only that, they have gone to the critical level of, like, you know, Six Sigma achievement with their suppliers who were who were developed to supply to the four-wheeler market, and many of them are still continuing supplying to the Honda cars, right. So, this is the supply development. One can go for that in case of no suppliers existing.